Oh, howdy. Orc did not see you there. Orc, apologize. Orc was taking a minute to think about his recent loss. Orc recently... Well, I should start at beginning. Orc had friend. Great friend named Garnag. Garnag was not like other orcs. In fact, Orc first met Garnag when Orc was simple farmer, having retired from the life of war to a tiny village where he was a respected member of community, with loving wife and children. One day, Orc came home, found door to cabin open, and Garnag, one-eyed devil, with his orc wife. Garnag ran off with orc wife and with orc children and actually with orc prize cow, leading to life of depression and skooma for orc for many years. That was first time orc saw Garnag. It was only after a few years of hopping around bars in Morrowind and drinking and ingesting large amounts of skooma. But I could, orc could quit whenever he wanted, but ingesting large amounts of skooma. That orc was lounging around outside a public bathroom, and Garnag walked up to orc. He looked as bad as orc did, maybe worse. He offered orc a hand, and orc accepted, looked at Garnag in the eye, one eye, and said, Garnag, why have you returned? Garnag says to orc, I have destroyed everything in my life, just as I destroyed everything in yours. Orc said, yes, that is what you did to my life. Garnag says, so I deserve to live like you now. I have finally learned humility. Orc did not understand what Garnag was talking about, as Garnag was handsome, strapping old orc, and orc himself was not exactly what everybody was talking about in the Somerset Isles, to say the least. But anyway, orc was distraught and needed friend, and Garnag seemed to have gone through loss of his own recently. So Garnag and orc proceeded to adventure down coastline of at least 400 or 500 miles. Walking, doing nothing, living like Khajiit, stealing, eating animals we could catch. We had many an adventure. One day, we were hanging around this mountain. Orc is getting very emotional. And a cliff racer swooped out of the sky. Gah! You know how they do. And stabbed Garnag in chest. Garnag laid there bleeding to death. Man who had become closest ally of orc. And says to orc, one day I had hoped I would be able to shake the burden of what I had done, what I had seen and become. But I have not. Garnag proceeded to recount tale of how he had once lived north in Skyrim and had been member of local chapter of Lions Club, although they called it the Dark Brotherhood, and that he had been present for the complete destruction of the Dark Brotherhood, the fall of the Dark Brotherhood, he said. He also stressed that the fall of the Dark Brotherhood was available for pre-order for $19.99 and would be for at least a week or two until its release April 5th. But Garnag was unable to cleanse himself of the blood on his hands. And then Garnag died. Died as he lived. Well, not exactly as he lived. When he lived, his heart was pumping blood. When he died, it was not anymore. But he died. This was just weeks ago. So Orc wanted to pay tribute somehow to glorious friend, man who had been enemy, ally, brother. So So Orc had a great idea. Orc contacted people who make card games and decided to commemorate ally Garnag with brand new legendary card, never before seen anywhere on Earth or Nirn, and debut that card right now, the commemorative card. Orc is proud to present, for the very first time to the viewing public, something very exciting. The Memorial Tribute card for Elder Scrolls Legends for Garnag Dark Adherent. Garnag Dark Adherent, very exciting addition to Elder Scrolls Legends collection. First of all, unique legendary Orc. That alone, worthy of praise. Malakath, thank you. Particularly exciting is the fact that even just compared to existing Orcs, where you can for 4 Magicka get a 4/5, Garnag loaded with abilities and stats, guaranteed to smash and crush non-Orcs. 4/5 for 4, perfectly reasonable and playable stat line. Breakthrough, delicious, wonderful in Orc decks, not fans of course, enemy guard creatures. Most enticing and exciting about commemorative Garnag Dark Adherent card is players cannot have more than 7 Magicka. Scrawny Human Justin, who usually runs this channel, mentioned at one point that he wanted nothing more than to see strength cards, strength cards with rule-setting abilities. Abilities saying players cannot have more than 7 Magicka, definition of rule-setting behaviors, rule-setting mechanics. This card is brand new territory for this game. Imagine for a second what kind of impact Garnag might have had when Histgrove was all over ladder. That's not the only thing this card can do either. Decks like Control Mage, Control Spellsword, Merrick Battle Mage, all require, usually, more than 7 Magicka to do their nefarious things. And smash Orcs, which is unacceptable. Orcs do smashing, not get smashed. Garnag, perfect to facilitate this. Garnag can be slotted into many existing decks on ladder, including Crusader and Battle Mage aggro, looking to put roadblock in front of control opponent playing greedy cards that cost more than 7. Manticora, Marak, Dawn's Wrath. All cards Garnag say no to. Ferocious in Legends as he was in life. Crusader midrange, Tears for Giant Fears deck. Very popular with Puny Human Justin. Perfect deck for Garnag. Deck struggling to find place in universe between midrange, aggro, and control. Dropping 8-drop giants, adding Garnag, and more flexible low-cost cards. Or potentially other new Dark Brotherhood card, revealed recently on Elder Scrolls Legends website. 4/1 with charge, red creature, removes cover from creature when played. Could turn that deck into even more of contender than it already is. Archer midrange, always a good deck, likely to want to run Garnag, as that deck usually runs only Tazcad as a card over 7 Magicka. Finally, the most glorious of all Elder Scrolls Legends decks, Warrior Orcs. Usually accompanied by my dear friend the Stone Shard Orc, will make maximum use of Garnag, who is, as the slowest of the aggro decks, would benefit immensely from Garnag's raw power. In general, Garnag is the sort of Elder Scrolls Legends card that Orc personally, and from what I hear that Justin guy, are particularly thrilled to be seeing added to game. This card takes the potential complexity of Legends and steps it up one notch from here to here. Not to here, and not down to here, but to here, which is the perfectly appropriate level for the first expansion to the game. Garnag not meta-defining on his own, but his influence will be felt for as long as he is allowed to be played and constructed. Orc strongly encourages any person who plays red in decks to at least experiment with Garnag, as Garnag was a glorious, glorious Orc, and deserves your respect and admiration. And, hopefully, an opportunity to slay forever on the fields of legends. Thank you. Orc, see you on ladder.